I just got back from the office, did a little reset, had lunch, got myself together on this Monday, and then thought, like, hey, today is June 1st. Why don't we do a June reset in YouTube? So let me go grab a coffee and walk you through my June reset where I'll talk about life, money, and how I think about all of it. So good. Honestly, one of the best decisions I made last year was getting the Breville barista because my coffee at home now is just perfect. I used to be a coffee shop spender and now I'm just like, I can make it at home. But let me first introduce myself. Hi, I'm Natalia. I'm originally from Colombia. I'm a mom of two young daughters, 2 and 4, and I'm building my life far from home. This is the space where I think out loud and debrief it all: money, finances, and the messy middle of building a life abroad on purpose. Because I didn't come this far not to live the life I came for. So without further ado, let's talk about June. Okay, so first, real life update. It's been officially more than a month that we don't have an elevator. We live in a 7th floor. And it's been challenging. I mean, it has been not as challenging as I thought it would be, but it is still a hassle bringing up and down 2 kids, 2 and 4, every single morning, every single afternoon, every single thing that you want to do, bring them up and down the stairs. So it's been, but anyways, it is what it is. We cannot do anything about it. So now moving on to the next update, it is my parents' visit. So my parents just left last week and they were here almost a month, all May. It was honestly a beautiful month. They've already been here 6 times visiting us in Vancouver. So I could really tell that they're just like so chilled and they know what to do and they know where to go. And I didn't have to be like a tour guide as much. We ate out so much because honestly, every single time that they come, I just want to show them the best thing of Vancouver, which is sushi, ramen, Thai, you name it. They love Vancouver food and I love showing them. Because honestly, in my opinion, this is one of the best things that this city has aside of the mountains, the beach, all of that. The food. You cannot find this. I truly believe you cannot find the mix of foods that this city has. It's kind of hard to replicate in another city. So we ate out a lot. We enjoyed it so much. But needless to say, after 1 month, I am totally, totally ready to reset my eating habits again. No visitors this month, no trips, no nothing. And I'm just really looking forward for this month to be like a chill month. I'm really looking forward to the weather to be good and just do mundane but things that make us happy in our day-to-day lives, just like a chill month. And before I get into the reset, I just want to say I know there are a bunch of finance gurus and people who advise tracking the dollar budget, but this is just really my style. The way I budget for my life is that I go from the life that I want and that I start to work backwards because I feel that way the budget follows the life I want and not the other way around. And that has just worked for me over the years. And I feel pretty happy where I am right now in terms of my finances. That's just been the way that I've been doing it since forever. So what I'm about to share here, it's honest, it's real, but it might not be the detailed spreadsheet that maybe you're used to seeing in other accounts. So let's start with the life reset because not everything is numbers and finances. We have a major life update coming up. I'm still not ready to share that here yet, but that life update has set the tone for this June reset because we are really looking forward to soak in the life that we're living right now, soak in the lifestyle, soak in downtown, going to the splash park, beach days every day, second beach pool, walking everywhere, biking, taking the girls around the seawall, going to our favorite restaurants nearby, and just soaking in Vancouver summer to the fullest. So that is definitely the main thing in our June reset. Just stay calm, chill, and be fully aware of the life, the mundane things that we have now. Then the World Cup. Because I am Colombian, and honestly, one of the things that I think and make me bittersweet that my girls are not leaving is the soccer matches energy that Colombia offers. Marked my childhood. I still remember how all the family got together and we would have this huge screen
and like yell and celebrate and all of that. I honestly just want to recreate that for my girls this World Cup, especially because Colombia is there, and I truly want them to feel a little bit of how I felt during my whole childhood in Colombia, because the World Cup, the Copa America, like even the European Cup was nuts. Where I come from, we had so much fun. It was like the highlight of the month. We would all get together. And yeah, I just want them to feel this way. So I'm trying to recreate that. And we already started this week listening to Die Die from Shakira non-stop. Like, I'm the worst dancer, but I am like, let's recreate it. And I told them like every single day we could like rehearse the choreography. And I'm like, hey, she's Colombian, listen up, listen up. No, honestly, like I am just so excited. I feel like it's kind of like a Christmas, like a mini Christmas for me, because I truly want to recreate the atmosphere. So yeah, that's the life update. Intentional days, slow mornings, beach days, and lots of Shakira. Okay, so now let's talk about money, and I want to be real with you because these numbers are honestly my numbers. And I know they may shock some people in both senses, but these are just like my numbers. So let's get started with our fixed expenses, because honestly, how I like to think about money is my KTLO, keep the lights on. I've been using this term for years in my career because honestly, it is just so important to know what's your KTLO, which is the minimum of your fixed non-negotiable expenses. So this is how kind of like think about it. So let me tell you mine, because the first one is of course rent, whose rent is a little number here in Vancouver. But anyways, actually mine got decreased by an amazing percentage because of the elevator situation. So I used to pay $3,780 for rent plus parking, but this month is $2,600, so $2,632. Because of the elevator, I negotiated with the rental company that it was really a hassle for me and the kids to be going up and down the stairs. So I negotiated this amount, and I'm kind of happy about it because honestly, it's like a lot less. It's like more than $1,000 less. I mean, like I envision this number every time I'm going up and down the stairs, and it just makes me feel better. So anyways, this is my first fixed expense. It is rent. Then we have daycare. We have our two daughters in daycare. One is 2 years old, then the other one is 4 years old. So they have different rates. So for the young one, the 2-year-old, we pay $1,052. And I'm not shocked at this number, guys, because before I used to pay $2,076. She started daycare when she was 6 months old, so the rate was kind of like the highest. And Kids and Company did daycare center where I had her for a full year, which is an amazing daycare. Well, unfortunately, it's one of the most expensive daycares here in Vancouver, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I was prioritizing making money for my family and for the goals that we had, and I signed her up for daycare this early age. So I honestly don't get shocked about that $1,000 because, as I said before, I used to pay $2,076. That amount always shocked me, to be honest. It was 12 months that I had her there. And so when I came down to 1,000, I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. And then for my 4-year-old, so basically when they are older than 3, the daycare costs decrease significantly because of the early childhood educator ratio. So maybe I'm going to sideways here, but this is just me. But I want to explain to you about the daycare thing. So when they're younger than 3 years old, you're basically paying for 1 out of 4 childhood educators, because the ratio that the government asks is 1 childhood educator for 4 kids. So if you look at the ratios, it's even expensive for the daycares to run with these regulations. But when they are older than 3, then the ratio becomes much more relaxed, of course, because the kids get older, they can communicate, they're potty trained. So the ratio becomes, I think, like 1 for every 7 kids, if I'm not mistaken. So my daughter's, my 4-year-old, her daycare is only $485, and I absolutely love her daycare. So no regrets with the money I'm paying. She thrives there, and she's been there for almost 2 years. And yeah, we love it so much. So anyways, these are my daycare expenses, which are part of my keep the lights on, my minimum, no negotiable fixed expenses, because without them, I cannot do my life the way I'm currently doing. So those are the ones that I start budgeting for. Then we have the RSP for both of my girls. We contribute $210 per month for each one of them. And I know future Natalia will thank herself We contribute every single month, no matter what. We've been doing it right after we moved to Canada because we got here pregnant. So as soon as we had our baby, we're like, no matter what, this money is going to go to the RESP. And that way we can use the grants that the government is giving us. And then our child and our future children will have this money aside for when they're 18 years old. Then we have health insurance. So we have extended healthcare through Miguel's job, and our portion is $65 for the four of us. And it's a really good one. Like, we've used it a lot. We use it to go to dentist. I got a massage the other day. Like, it's really, really good. So honestly, those $65 like mean nothing compared to like the amount of money that you would have to pay if you didn't have it. And then the last fixed expense that we have is the car. So we pay $1,176 for our car plus the insurance. If I was honest with you guys, this was Miguel's expense, because if it was for me, I would be walking everywhere, or I would still have our car since 2022. But to be fair, I walk everywhere. I pick up our daughter, and then also my job is here in downtown. So I cannot relate to this like car loving thing, but maybe one day when I literally need to use the car, I will understand him. But anyways, he wanted the car just as much as I love traveling. And when you're in a partnership, you just have to, get in the middle. He wanted the car, I want my trips, and we both are happy. I feel this is something that you just have to accept when you're in a relationship and you're sharing your finances and you're sharing a future together. Like, both of you will never have the same needs and wants, you know what I mean? So, but this is what partnership looks sometimes. So yeah. Now, one of the things that I was really thinking into cutting this month is that I wanted to cut some subscriptions, because I feel like they're just getting out of hand. For instance, I got this ring, the Ring-Con, and I didn't want the Aura ring just because it required a subscription. And I'm like, another subscription in this economy? Like, I feel like you have to pay for everything nowadays, right? So I really wanted to go over my subscriptions, and I decided that I was gonna cut the gym, because honestly, I go to the gym at my office. I haven't been gone lately because we've been eating out so much with my parents. But I haven't gone to the other gym, like the independent gym where I sign up to. I just don't find the time. I find that going to the gym at my office is just way more convenient for me. So I'm gonna cut that subscription because I've just not used it. And it's just being a waste of money at this point. Moving to flexible, because I like to spread my costs between like the KTLO, as I was mentioning. And then moving towards flexible, like there are some flexible spends that you cannot decrease or like remove, but you can minimize, or you can use at your advantage, or you can you can go up and down. And that's where I have the food. So for food, I have 1,500, and honestly, I think we're gonna go a little bit lower. So from previous months, I've noticed that we usually spend maybe 1,800, 1,900 when we have visitors. Because when we have visitors, it's usually like a whole month, and it's 2 or 3 extra people eating. 1,500 is kind of conservative because we don't want to eat out as much, and our parents are not here anymore. It's just the 2 of us with the girls. So I feel that that amount is good. But I have to say that in this 1,500, I include eating out, because we eat out so much, you guys. We eat out so much. And it's just something that comes from living downtown. I've discussed it with a bunch of friends. It's just like, you have temptation all over. Like, you walk and there's like amazing restaurants, cheap restaurants, food from all over the world. But this month, we want to be extra intentional with eating out. Not because of the budget, but because honestly, I just feel so heavy. I feel so weird. Like, none of the clothes fit me. Like, I feel like the weight that I lost in the last couple of months, I gained it back. So yeah, I feel the 1,500 is gonna be totally okay. And also with like grocery shopping and all of that, I'm kind of discovering Costco. I was not usually a Costco girly, but now I've become a little bit. And if you are not a Costco person, I highly suggest you to start ordering by Instacart, because I was overwhelmed with Costco is because it is so busy and I never knew what to get. So I would like end lost in Costco, overwhelmed with my 2 daughters. Like, it was a mess, honestly. Ordering in Instacart, and it made so much sense. I actually asked a couple of friends like, hey, what do you usually order at Costco? And then I started like slowly to understand what made sense for me, for my family. And now I'm kind of like loving Costco, still not loving going to Costco per se, but I feel like I'm being more involved in like this grocery shopping optimization, if I can say so. Now, this is the part that I'm really proud of And it's the whole point of how I think about money. And is that since I knew that my parents were going to be leaving at the end of May, I knew that June we didn't have any major like travel plans. We were going to be like in reset mode. So I really wanted to start June knocking off my travel expenses. And this is part of how I design my trips. A lot of you have asked me if I can go deep in the weeds in how I design the trips. In this video, I just kind of want to share with you real time the decisions that I make when I design my trips. So back in April, we didn't have visitors or anything in April. And mind you, like we have a lot of visitors because June and February we had visitors, then March we didn't, April we didn't, and then May we did, and then we might have again in August. And you know, like having visitors for us, it's a recurrent thing because we have kids, our family, they don't want to miss their childhood. So visitors play a big role in how we design, like how our month is gonna look like. So anyways, in April we didn't have any visitors, and I decided to knock off my Euro trip flights, which is one of the biggest expense when you're traveling to Europe as a family. I spotted a deal to Sweden and we paid 2,600 for the 4 of us, and I was like immediately yes to this deal. And so I already knew that we were going to take the trip. And as I said, I kind of design my life and then I budget accordingly and make the budget work for that thing, not the other way around. So I'm not honestly the kind of people who has a sinking fund and who puts like a little bit of money every month, and then when maybe $12,000, I'm gonna think like, oh, okay, I have money to travel. No, I work the other way around. So I was like, we are going to Europe and I'm gonna make that happen. I'm gonna make that within our budget, and booking the flights was the first step. So we paid $2,600 for those flights, and that was in April. May, my parents came, whatever, like, you know, I didn't do any major decision because I was honestly like not overwhelmed, but I didn't have capacity to think about these things when my parents came and I was working full time, and then all of that, my whole energy was for my parents. Now that they left this weekend, I picked up again the Euro trip and like how I wanted our trips to look like, which is how I define my happiness. Like I honestly, if I don't travel, I go nuts. So it has to be part of my whole life. So in that line, I locked in the internal flights from Sweden. We're gonna go to Paris. I wanna take the girls to Disney. That's an extra step because Disney is usually expensive. So I'm not gonna put that this whole month. Also, it requires a lot of research, which I didn't have the time to do this weekend. But I did lock in the flights in Europe. I also book the car rental. So in my mind, honestly, my Euro trip, it has a sketch because I know where I'm landing. I know how many days we're gonna spend in Sweden. Then we're gonna take a flight to Paris, and then we're gonna rent a car, which is already paid. I paid it 2 days ago. And then the rest can flow. I still have time because it's in September, but the main expenses, I got them covered. And also one of the things that I still haven't figured out is to go to Colombia every single year, because I find that it is just expensive to go to Colombia. And as a living abroad working mom, it's not that I don't enjoy going to Colombia, it's just sometimes it's too much. It's too much. The flights are so expensive to go on Christmas and all of that. But this year, it's gonna be 2 years that we don't go to Colombia, and I knew I wanted to go to Colombia this year. But in June, we still had room for those flights to Colombia. And I knew that booking the flights to Colombia was gonna have a good impact in my, not mental health, but like how I look towards my life, because I wanted to go to Colombia so bad this year. I know the flights are super expensive. So I also went ahead and booked the flights to Bogota for the girls and I. Miguel still cannot decide because of his job. So yeah, the 3 of us are going to Colombia in December, and I am so excited. I mean, like, I've never been this excited to go to Colombia. I'm so excited for the novenas. I'm so excited for like all the traditions and all of that. As they get older, I kind of like mourn a little my childhood. I want to be very intentional in passing those traditions to them without being naive and thinking that they are going to be like also singing the novenas and all of that, but I just wanted to be in the back of their childhood. You know what I mean? I booked the flights. They were $2,640 for the 3 of us. So it's not that I got like a mega deal, you know, but at least I locked in a decent price for December. thing that I like the most about how I think about money in this, like trips and like booking stuff in advance, is that it's checked off my mental list. Because the future months don't carry the weight of the decisions I made this month. I knew that June had space to absorb that. So in September, when we will for sure have extra expenses when we go to Europe, I'm not also carrying the weight of the car rental, the transatlantic flights, of the internal flights. You know, I kind of like spread it when I knew it was gonna be okay. So I'm not anxious for September. I never take the trip being anxious about the money because most of it is already paid well in advance. And another thing is Father's Day. I reserved $200 for Father's Day. I'm still not sure what we're doing, but it will be for sure an experience because I mean, it is summer. Honestly, Miguel is not like, he doesn't like to buy stuff or anything. He's pretty simple, so I'm sure he will enjoy an experience. I'm still thinking and deciding what to do. And then the last thing is that I started investing in Wealth Simple. So I honestly am an excellent saver, but my tolerance to risk is not that high. To be honest, we had quite some money that we were building during this year sitting in a bank account earning like 2%, 3%. And then every time we would go to the bank, the financial advisor would be like, you guys are wasting potential with this money. But it's not in like, you know, like I'm not that risky. This year I felt I had mental space, my low risk investments. So I decided I wanted to play a little with Wealth Simple. I started back in January, but playing a little bit with ETFs, but this month I'm starting to play with stocks. So let's hope for the best. As I said, I'm not like super high risky, so it's a minimal portion of our portfolio, but I'm excited because yeah, I just feel like, what was I doing? What was I doing having my money in like 2%? So yeah, this is June. So I'll keep you guys posted and I'll see you in the next video. Bye you guys.